Let's get the old truck started. Oh, a little bit of a disaster. We're going to go pick something up today. Alright, so we just went and picked up if you guys assumed, a new welding machine. I've been asked in the comments a few times, like, where you find this stuff, where you get this stuff. So this video is kind of premise on how to find inexpensive welding equipment that usually works. So let's dive right into it. So some of you may have watched the video of me tearing into this thing. I'm not going to make a second video because the first one really didn't do that well, so I'm not going to bother making it. I didn't record much of what I did, but I did end up putting a new one of these covers on. I put two brand new outlets in it, and I put two new 20 amp fuses or breakers, whatever you want to call those, in it as well. So now the outlets work, and for reference, people told me I had to put this all the way. It does work when you have it dialed in, so maybe that's for the big 240 outlet, I'm not sure. But I picked this welder up for 550 bucks. Came with a brand new battery. It welded and it ran when I bought it. Now here's kind of the cover for it. I'm in the process of painting it. And if anyone has a Miller welder and you're looking for a very close blue to it, this was the pretty close sail blue from Rust-Oleum. I mean, that looks pretty close. I wasn't gonna go spend, you know, boku bucks on the exact Miller, you know, blue, but I am gonna put some logos on it, and I'm gonna flip this thing. I'm not keeping it. I am gonna flip it. Like I said, bought it for 550 bucks. That was a marketplace score. So that's your first place to look for decent deals. That's where I usually look. I'm always on marketplace. So 550 bucks. These are going for around 2,000 in my area in New Jersey, with 1,000 or less hours on them that are pretty beat up too. So I kind of fixed it up, did what I could with it. So that's first place. Like I said, this gonna just tell you guys how to get less expensive. I hate using the word cheap. I never liked word, you know, cheap usually means bad. So we'll go with the lesser expensive options. So marketplace, first thing. I know marketplace is flooded with garbage. You just need to know when to pick the right deals. This thing I see what they were going for. I knew it ran, and I didn't know if it welded when I went to buy it. The guys didn't even know, but I went and tested it. It does weld. You know, it ain't no Lincoln pipeline welder, but it does weld. It'd be good for someone to use. And the generator works and the outlets work now. So now I'm going to show you the next thing I bought recently for a very good price. So let's get into that. So if anyone follows me on Instagram, you've seen that I've posted this for sale a few times, but this is an LN25. This is a wire feeder. Usually runs off an engine drive. If you guys know, if you know, you know exactly how this works. If you don't, this machine plugs right into your leads on your engine drive, which I have on the truck. So if we go over to the engine drive on the rig, you have your amps control and you have your volts. If you don't know, MIG runs off of volts most of the time, usually. So on this machine, we have CV wire, which is constant voltage. So you click it onto that and you literally plug in, it has a port on the back, you plug in your positive lead, and then you use the ground from the machine to ground to your workpiece. And it has a little ground on the machine, I guess, for a sensor. But CV wire, this machine has CV wire mode. Now I'll show you something cool about that LN25 when we get in there. Obviously you got your downhill pipe. Stick is what I always leave it on, but you can run this off of CV wire. Now the problem with this machine is this voltmeter is bad. It doesn't read anything. I believe there was water that got in there, so I can't really dial in and see exactly what the volts are. And the problem is they only sell these two gauges as a set, and they're about 600 bucks. So my intention when I bought that machine was to buy it for side work, but I'm coming to realize that I don't do enough side work to justify having a wire feeder. I can stick weld most things. Most jobs I do are smaller, or most jobs I do are under $1,000 jobs. I'm not doing big work as being on the side. So let's get back into the LN25. So here's your little sensor thing. The LN25, I didn't know this, a buddy of mine told me this. They actually do have a CC option. CC is what you weld on a constant current, which is thick. And then it has a chart here to, you know, help you, gives you pretty much, if you're running on CC, the equivalent to the volts. So I've yet to try, I really need to try it. I've had it for a while, but I bought all new consumables for it. It came with like half a spool of dual shield. There's no need for me to run dual shield on most projects I do, but the reason I'm telling you this is I bought this at an auction. So that leads to number 2 of how to get inexpensive welding equipment. So auctions, equipment auctions, all that stuff. This was I shouldn't say local. It was about 45 minutes away in New Jersey. Anything in New Jersey is local to me, but this was an ironworking shop out in East Jersey. Not going out of business, but I think retiring. So what happens is these businesses hire, or if it's a bankruptcy sale, they hire out these auction companies. Now, most of you, or some of you probably know how auctions work, but the auction company will come in, they'll put a lot number on everything, and they sell it all. No reserve. I mean, most things are no reserve. This sale was no reserve. I picked this thing up for $700. It was in a shop environment in its whole life. It was hooked up to a big 440 or 240 stick welder. They did a lot of ironworking prefab. So me personally, what these are going for, this one's in really good shape. Anywhere from $1,500 to $2,000, even an old one. And this one's in 1994, and I know that because it came with all the owner's manuals and everything you need for this, all the consumable parts. This guy is very anal. But being an older machine, seeing it was in a shop its whole life from 1994, it was in very good shape. It was a little dusty. I wiped the dust off. It wasn't dragged through the mud. It was literally hanging off a column, used for welding I-beams. So I picked this up for $700, I believe, maybe $750. I bought about $70 to $80 worth of consumables, new tips, cups, diffuser insulators and stuff, all on eBay, and it's ready to go. The only thing, if you wanted to change the roller drive size, it's set up for 045. Those are like $200. But again, $700 at an auction. I think it was $750 after the auction fees, because every auction has auction fees. So there's number 2 of pretty much how you get stuff for less expensive than normal. But I am decided I am going to sell this. Probably going to want $2,000 for it. I'm going to go between $15,000 and $2,000. Again, that's what they go for. And this one, even though it's old, is in very good condition. So I don't feel like I'm ripping anybody off. If someone knows what this is worth, you know, these are a very valuable asset if you're into big mobile outfit, you know, mobile stuff like that. It's quick, all that stuff. So, and here you go. Here's how it hooks up. You plug that right into your positive lead. Here's your C25 mix right there. You got your little ground right there. So it's still a little dusty, but it is in really good shape. So again, there you go. Number 2, auction. So let's get to the thing I towed home. All right, not the tractor. I've had the tractor, but here we go. This might have been the steal of the century. I picked this up. It's a Lincoln SA250 with a Continental TMD 2.7 diesel engine in it. Now, when I tell you I picked this thing up for a steal, I picked it up for a steal. Comment down below, before I tell you how much I paid for it, what do you think I paid for this? Because I still can't believe I won it for this. I'm going to give you a little backstory. But it came with this trailer. Tires, those are not the tires it came with, but sight unseen, bought this from an auction. Technically, I didn't even buy it. I was on vacation a few weeks ago, and most of you know my buddy Dalton. He went to the auction that this was at. This was an auction that was 7 minutes, one town over, an old auto shop, towing business. I mean, they had everything. They were a race car shop, an auto shop, towing business. They had all kinds of stuff, cranes, old classic cars, all snap-on tools, toolboxes, every tool known to man, welding machines, big rigs, all this stuff. Happened to see this, and Dalton was going there to possibly look at buying a parts truck for his Peterbilt. He sent me a picture of this. He's like, hey, what do you think this is worth? I said, I didn't even know at the time it was a 250. I thought it was an SA200, like an old pipeline welder, which is something I've wanted for a long time, just something cool to have, refurbish. This is pretty good though. I told him, listen, bid up to $1,000 if you can spot me to 1,000 until I get back from vacation. He's like, okay, no problem. Long story short, he ended up buying a big rig for like dirt cheap. He won this. I won this, but he did it all for me. I just paid him back. I got this machine sight unseen for $250 as it sits. $250. I slapped the battery in it. That paint's not for that. But 250 bucks. No idea if it ran. No idea. I figured I would go 1,000 on it and I could part it out or fix it up and have something nice. But for $250, this essentially thing to me was free. 250 bucks is nothing. So I think I got a smoking deal on this thing. He towed it to his house the next day. I went and picked it up last week where I was with the truck the other day. I still can't believe I got it for this deal. And the best part, I'll show you right now. All right, best part. Are you kidding me? It runs? Wow. And it idles down. Now, does it run the best? No. Everything works. The outlets work. I tested those. And it welds. Wrong button. And it shuts right off. The best part is I spent $250 on this machine. It runs, the outlets work, and it welds. I welded on a little scrap piece of pipe I had. It runs smooth. I'll probably clean the brushes, maybe get into a little bit of that, but for 250 bucks, I mean, like, come on, you can't beat that. This was another auction buy, like I just said, and I'm still baffled that I was able to get this machine for $250. Now, the radiator does leak all its coolant out, so I'm gonna need a radiator. Now, so this machine right here, this is not for sale. This will never be for sale. I am going to strip this down to nothing. This is going to be like a full refurbish. Get a new hood for it. I found a company out in Oklahoma already that makes new hoods for these. Full refurbish, tear down, get it painted, just to have. For that price, I mean, I could probably, as it sits right now, welds, runs, and the outlets work. I don't know, you guys tell me down in the comments again. I'd put it up for $2 grand. and would hold true to 2 grand, wouldn't take a dime less. But that's not for sale. And again, it was insane how much stuff was going for at this auction because everything was cheap. I have a theory of why. The auction where I bought this at was an actual equipment auction that they dealt with. The auction that we bought that at, I don't think they hired the right company to auction off all this stuff. They hired an antique auction company, not a equipment auction company, which I think if they hired the right company to run the auction, it probably would have sold for over $1,000, my opinion. But works for me because I got it for dirt cheap. Supposedly there's another auction of the same place that they had more stuff to sell locally, and they have another one of these, Dalton said, because Dalton actually went to the auction and sat there and bid, like, you know, with the card and all that stuff. So again, I got this thing for so cheap. It runs, it welds. I mean, like, you can't beat that. So again, this whole video is kind of premised on how you can get stuff for inexpensive welding equipment, I should say. I would love to take you guys to an equipment auction. I think if they do have one in August, I'm definitely trying to go myself and do the bidding, so maybe I'll take the camera. But I'm still, and it came with a full tank of diesel. There's probably 10 gallons of diesel in there, and where I'm at, that's $40. So right there, I won on diesel. And I think for the future of it, once I get this thing sold and all this garage cleaned up, because it's been a disaster here lately for me. This is going in the garage. It's getting all stripped down, everything. I'm going to get a new radiator for it, filters, all that stuff. And yeah, I still can't believe I got it for that cheap. So yeah, again, just kind of going over, if you guys, wherever you live in the United States or wherever you're at, look into auctions, man. Like, auctions are where stuff is at. 2 sites I use a lot is Proxy Bid and Bid Spotter. They have a lot of local stuff, equipment. You'll always find any sort of excavating or a shop. Always got some sort of welders for sale. And I'm not buying anything else at an auction besides welding equipment because that's kind of what I know. I know, you know, I can wrench. I wrenched on that. I'll wrench on this. I wrenched on diesel, you know, smaller diesels before. So anything that has a potential of running, I can try to get running. And if it welds good, I can resell it. If not, I usually try to get it cheap enough to where I can just sell it for what I bought it for. So again, Marketplace, there's always some deals on Marketplace, like the Blue Star, for instance, and auctions. Really, really, really look at auctions. A lot of stuff is sight unseen. This is sight unseen. If I remember, I'll throw in some pictures right here of what this thing looked like when Dalton went and dragged it out of the weeds. But it was, if my guess, it was sitting for a long time. I pulled some numbers off of that. I believe it's a 1991 or a 1992. It's a SA250 with a Continental TMD 2.7 diesel in it. So it's a pretty solid machine. I'm not putting it on my truck. I like my welder over there. Again, the welder on my truck, good deal. I don't need a diesel. But that was a smoking deal. Got it for virtually nothing because someone put gas in the whole thing. So I have a knack for finding pretty inexpensive welding machines to flip. So that might just wrap it up here. I know I've had a little absence of not posting. Haven't had much to post. Really, I have a side job actually this coming weekend. I may or may not film. It's a brush hog. I have another little one on a skid steer coming up very soon. But I've kind of like, I don't know. I have opinions on how YouTube is working anymore these days and what's getting pushed, and especially in the welding community of YouTube, Instagram, TikTok. If you want my humbled opinion for the people that want to listen, I'll give you a little rant right now if you want to hear it. So here's my deal. I see these bigger influencers, welding influencers on YouTube, Instagram. Not going to name any names, but there's a few I've seen on Instagram. There's a few on YouTube, and it's really flooding and destroying the algorithm and the viewer part of it on those things. These guys are rolling billboards, and they post no welding content, and you know, you have all. I can go on and on, but I've been wanting to get this off my chest, and why I'm kind of fading out of maybe possibly making as many videos as I have. I'll film good jobs, kind of like what Melton Metal Anthony's been doing, but I mean, this social media is flooded with rolling billboard people. They'll take any endorsement they get. I get still to this day, without posting videos for 3 months, I still get emails once or twice a week to promote bullcrap products. I've seen it's really, and then another thing that really irritates me and really gets me is that all these small little welding outfits or companies, mostly Amazon guys or companies that sell their stuff on Amazon, are just anyone that has a little bit of subscribership on YouTube or Instagram. They're sending them for free. These guys are making videos of them on how perfect they are and how the best welder ever. Now, there's a few guys that I do watch and I do respect and I do like that did it the right way. Freedom Fabrications, MBS Welding, and On Fire Welding. They've done stuff for Art Captain, but I respect all those reviews, and I think those guys did a great job because they all took those welders and used them in actual paying jobs. You know, most of the crap you see is guys get these welders, they set up 2 pieces of metal and they weld them together. Those 3 guys, maybe there's more, but those are the ones that I watch. They did it right. I commend them for that. I've been contacted by Art Captain multiple times, and I just choose not to work with them because it's already flooded. The market is flooded on this social media platform. Yes Welder, Art Captain, Somder Welder, all these all these Amazon companies always message me, and and they want you to do certain things and certain this. I just have no interest in that. Like I said, those 3 guys, maybe a couple other people, they do it right. They actually take the product and they use them on a job. That's the best way to know if a welder works great or not just welding a T-joint or welding 2 pieces of metal on a lap joint. To me, that's kind of BS. These guys did it right. I respect them for it, and they did their reviews, and these companies still reach out to me, and I just don't want to flood the already flooded social media platform of all these junk welders. Now, they say those welders are good. I've never used them. They seem pretty good for what you're getting. I just don't want to flood the market anymore, because I think that if you have a welding, and this is kind of geared towards all the welding social media people out there, you know, you make content like what I do. All 3 of those guys that I just mentioned, Melton Metal, Icy Weld, a handful of other guys I can't know off the top of my head, or I can't remember off the top of my head. They all make work content, not welder review content. There's a guy on Instagram that I've recently seen, and his entire Instagram is just a rolling billboard. No welding. Yeah, he's welding, but you don't see any jobs. You don't do any of this. He's got like every endorsement. Sorry, don't know where we left off. That's a first for me. My camera overheated. It's 92 degrees here. I forget where I left off, but moral of the story is this platform, all social media, is becoming a cesspool of billboard rollers, in my opinion. So I'm going to kind of take one from Melton Metal Anthony. I'm going to be very picky and choosy from what I film anymore, because the algorithm just doesn't play in my favor anymore. Now listen, people are going to be like, oh, what, you know, still make videos. I get it. It's a hobby for me, the YouTube, but it's, you know, my views aren't as much as they were. Maybe it's just because I'm not making good content. Maybe my content sucks. I don't know. My content last year was doing pretty well, I would say. I had some really hit videos last year, and I thought I had some pretty good ones at the beginning of this year too, but it's just becoming extremely flooded with, honestly, all these cheap Amazon companies that people are just taking everything they can get and making a review about it, which is killing the actual working people that make YouTube videos. Now, like I said, I do this on the side. All those, most every other YouTuber on bigger YouTuber that I know on YouTube has a welding business. I don't. I weld on the side. I have a truck. I just do side work. So those guys can make good content and make content often because they always have work coming in because that's how they make a living. I have a full-time job. This is side work. So it's hard. I really enjoy YouTube, but again, like I said, it's becoming so bad with, I mean, everything. Mechanics, I watch a lot of mechanicking channels. I watch a lot of excavating videos. And everything is just becoming how many products you can push, free products that someone sends you and tells you that they're the best. So, like I said, I'm not digging anyone who does it. The couple guys I mentioned about a certain company, they do it right. I agree. They do it right. They actually work those machines and use them for work. And I like my prime welds, honestly. And I really wish they would reach out because I love prime weld machines. I'm not really shouting them out anymore because this may sound very petty, but they've reached out to people who have not as much following as I do to give free machines to test out. Again, they've reached out to a few people that I just mentioned that are billboard rolling people. All they do is take free stuff and make content about them. Maybe that's what they're after. I like to think my videos are genuine. Some of you may disagree, but I put these things through the paces, all my stuff through the paces. So it would be nice. I like Prime Weld. They are a New Jersey company. And it is what it is. You know, I'm not complaining. I have a great thing going here. And yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed my rant. I'm sorry for the end here, but I've been really wanting to get that off my chest lately. I was going to make a whole video about it, but it's just not, that's not what my channel is. I haven't had much work come in. I'd like to keep posting videos for you guys and something informative like I think that I'm telling you right now of stuff that I've got. And even if you want to start flipping stuff, it's a good way to do it. So thank you again for watching. Stick around. I'm hoping to get a couple more videos out in the near future. And for all my loyal subscribers, I really appreciate you watching. We'll catch you on the next video. See ya.